So when did you start doing all of the archaeology stuff? When did you start doing that?
Well, I started researching the ancient civilization stuff was, I'd say 20, officially I'd say 2019. When I was living on the Navajo res up in the Four Corners area, started looking for artifacts there out there on the res, and would find really interesting rocks and mud fossils. You're familiar with mud fossils? Are you?
Maybe?
Okay, so what a mud fossil is at some point in time during the like mud floods,
Okay.
um, when the body gets covered real quick in the mud, it can petrify and turn to rock, but it's still intact, you know what I mean? It doesn't, it's not just bones. So like, let me see. Uh, Let me get a rock. So right here is a lung. That's where the bronchial tube comes out. So
Okay.
it would be, I guess it would be like this, the lung. But you can see, right?
So how do
So
you
that's what,
find how do you find a petrified lung without the body?
well, the body deteriorated at some point through time, and only the real muscly tissue, remained. So like right
Okay.
here, there's a heart, and it's
Oh
still
wow.
the color of a heart. And you can even see the fatty tissue in it.
Yeah.
You know, yeah.
See, and I would see something like that and I would just think it's a rock.
It's cool though, right? So then let's see what else. I'm not trying to be a perv or nothing, okay? But this is what looks like a reproductive organ. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's weird. It has a hole right there too in it, or it looks like a face, I guess.
Piercing.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Prince Albert.
Right.
What I think is possibly the accompanying that guy's girlfriend or something.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you know, no weird. But yeah, body parts, everywhere.
Wow.
And so right here, this is a vertebrae, a giant vertebrae. It's something that was huge. Yeah, it was a big one, you know.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, so that's how it got started. And then the more and more I always look for stuff, I started finding bigger and bigger tools. And that led me to researching more of ancient history in the Mesoamerican world. And because out here where I'm living down the road in the stream, I've found over like 2,000 giant, hammers, axes, all stone weapons, and they just get bigger and bigger and bigger. And the weird stuff too, like right here, like, yeah. So possibly something sat like that.
Okay.
And they use the front and the back for striking something, which that'd be hard to swing because it's so heavy. But yeah, I've got axe heads that are, I don't know, 100 pounds. Like you ever picked up a sledgehammer?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
the sledgehammers are pretty heavy. To
Yeah.
swing around. Those weigh 20 pounds. The piece of metal on the top of the sledgehammer is about between 20 to 40. The heaviest, biggest ones that we use as humans go up to 40 pounds. I have an axe head outside that weighs 75 pounds. Um, so you know you have to be like one of the world's strongest men to be able to use the 40-pound sledgehammer easily.
Right. Oh,
So that's the mountain from Game of Thrones. So you know how big he is, right? So think about something that is 3 times as heavy. What could swing that? You know, giants. So from there, I this is my backyard right here, and I got a new phone. And I kept on thinking to myself, if there was that many tools, weapons, just in this creek, unless there was a ancient Home Depot that collapsed right there, you know, um, that would have to support, you know, a huge civilization here to have that many just in one small area, thousands upon thousands. There's so many more there, you know, too. Um, I said these there's got to be more evidence in these mountains, you know. So I got a new phone that has like a really good zoom that I've never had before. The S Ultra 23 Pro 100 zoom doobity doo. And I was in my backyard and I was like, man, wouldn't that be cool if all those ridges weren't ridges and this is really just a big ass temple and that's what's showing through? That'd be cool. So I got my camera out and zoomed in on the ridge, all fully zoomed, and I saw a face. I was like, what the hell? And I looked to the right a little bit. There's another carving and another carving. And yeah, eventually, yeah, I traveled all the way up and down these mountains for, I don't know, let's say like 30 miles of the mountain range back and forth. I've documented all of it, every ridge. Like I said, I have thousands and thousands of images now.
Wow.
But yeah, I found so many different things. Not just the little ridges. I found uh, whole structures and temples and pyramids and just ridiculousness. And I'm just like, how the hell could nobody have noticed that? They've got a university here and archaeologists and everything, and literally behind the college is one of the big mountains with the ridges all crazy. And I go up there and I'm, and sure enough, covering that whole thing, the whole damn thing.
So what has anybody said about him?
I haven't officially went to the archaeology department or any people like that. I've barely letting people know about it. I've just been doing this for hardcore, you know, researching on this for like 6 months. That's it.
Okay.
So it's a new discovery, and I'm working on a documentary right now to show it. And yeah, it's like it's you know you've heard of Chichen Itza
No.
in Mexico, you know the Mayan pyramids in Mexico.
Hmm.
Well, like size wise, this discovery makes that look like I don't know a little tiny little town. You know, this dwarfs.
Those are huge.
Yeah, these ones are bigger. Yeah, so and we have White Sands. Have you heard of White Sands, New
Yeah.
Mexico? Okay, so
Yeah.
that's where I'm at right here. It's down 13 miles away from me. Uh, so they recently discovered footprints in the White Sands, you know, ancient ones, you know, up to 22 inches or 24 inches. I think 22 inches was the biggest ones, which is really big. That's really big. I wear size 15 shoes, and uh, I think like actual inches, it's 13 inches for size 15. So think about size 22 inches. You're talking like size 28, 30 shoes.
Mm-hmm.
They're barefoot too. So that put the age of um, the humans here at like 15,000 years ago. And I'm finding all this ancient civilization stuff that it goes against all timelines
Yep.
because they're finding evidence of footprints and people being here that far along. And now this whole mountain range, I'm finding these all carved out. And these mountains have looked like this for a long time. And the water, I found water erosion on some of some like by the Olmec head thing I found in that area. I,
Mm-hmm.
water erosion on some of these carvings, which implies that these carvings were there before there was the a great flood, or because
Yep.
there used to be the ocean in this area, because I can go to the top of the mountains here and find seashells still, and I'll crack open a rock, and it smells like ocean water, you know. And so the last time there was water here, they said that when it was the very last little bit of the water, barely, you know, that was 15,000 years ago. So when it was actually full of water, that you're going into the 20 something thousand years ago. And then I found the elephants, right? I got skeletons of elephants. I found that again about 15,000 years ago. Then I found a statue. This elephant went extinct way, way before woolly mammoth. Okay, so there's that. And then I did the whole color everything pink, then erased it so you could see exactly what you're supposed to be looking at, and showed you a picture of what I believe that is, what type of elephant. That elephant went extinct 23 million years ago.
What kind of elephant is that?
Right? It's a very prehistoric, ancient elephant from millions of years ago. How would they know about it, one, and how would they know what it looked like to carve it fully, you know, if it didn't exist until 23 million years ago? So there's a lot of this. This is probably going to upset a lot of people, these findings, because everything's turning out to be backwards, as in they're thinking that the Americas are actually where everything started, and it went outwards, not the other way around. They try to tell everybody that, oh, everybody went over the land bridge. They're like, hey, there's land, let's walk across. It's like, yeah, no. It turns out that everything started here. That from all the research that I've done and other people have done, there's so much that's way more ancient here, and Egyptian stuff, and like in the Grand Canyon, it's covered in the names of the actual places in the Grand Canyon are all Egyptian.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. I've heard other accounts where they've discovered that too. And how is that possible if you're separating so many different areas and regions, yet there's a connection somewhere? And
well, like
there's so many different theories, but
yeah, in the 1800s, they discovered over 2,000 mummies here in the Americas. Okay, and they shipped them to Egypt. You hear about any mummies in Egypt? But they don't say they're from here. Interesting. You know what I mean?
well, and what about
What?
the giant bones that they discovered here and then they disappeared?
Smithsonian. Oh, I love this. 1905 here in Guadalupe County, there was two 12-foot skeletons found. And Smithsonian. Now they're not around. So many. There's been so much found here. There was in El Paso, Texas. Okay, in the 1900s, they discovered an ancient stone city. That's what's under El Paso, Texas, right now. But all of a sudden, got buried, got built over. So that's why I was like, because I'm about an hour and a half from El Paso, Texas. So when I started reading these old articles from the 1800s, 1900s of the discoveries they were making, that told me that these mountains here, they should have something. And yeah, they do now. I found that out. Yeah. So the thing that is weird too is, you're familiar with the Tartarian stuff?
Yeah.
Okay. So this is one thing that I want to send a message out to all those Tartarian researchers out there for the month. Around the world, okay? Yes, I believe Tartaria did exist as a civilization, as a people, okay? Like right now, right now, around the world, there are many current buildings that are quite similar, right? Doesn't mean that they're all American. Doesn't mean that they're all Russian. Doesn't mean that they're all German. Doesn't mean that they're all, no. Many different civilizations utilize the same techniques, okay? So the research is saying that everything's Tartarian, and all of it was made by the Tartarian people. That they traveled everywhere and built all this stuff. It's like, no. They also did that stuff back then.
Hmm.
But all the different civilizations apparently had that same technology and know-how to build all that stuff. Just like over here, when there's reports from the 1500s of Spaniards coming here, uh, they described North America saturated with giant buildings and technology and a huge. It was just for trade. There was a bunch of different civilizations here. Um, it's like, don't you think the people that were already here might have lived in some of those buildings, built some of them buildings? Because I heard several times now, people are like, well, wasn't it just like Native Americans, back then? And the guy said, no, the people that built it were the Tartarians. The Indians were just running around in their teepees. It's like, really? You know, and they try to say that we didn't have a written language and we're savages, and it's like, you understand the Mayan pyramids and all these other places that have stuff all over them written. Our codexes, uh, our astronomy, our mathematics. The Vatican has over 1,000 codices of ours, and only left us with three or four. So everyone could say, they didn't even have a written language. They didn't even know what the will was. I'm like, oh, it's like, come on, guys. Every different place had these buildings and giant versions of people. Um, Patagonia, you've heard of Patagonia?
Yep.
Okay, so right there, giants. Here in the right here in North America, finding 12-foot giants. These are the mountains that I have current Bigfoots running around that are giants. Um, so there was people already here. And the Bigfoots were a different tribe of people. We call them Mary people here, the Apache, Mescalero. And yeah, so it just kind of infuriates me that it's that everybody's jumping on bandwagon Tartaria. It's like, no, yeah, I get it. We've decided to call this Tartarian-esque stuff, you know. But I just want people out there to be like, come on, use your head, guys. You know what I mean? It's like, it would make no sense that people would travel all over the world to just build a bunch of cathedrals and giant buildings like that and star forts and for no reason, just to go do it around the world, and everybody else was just sitting around on their thumbs or what.
Yeah. And
It's wild stuff. It is here. It's real. All that stuff's real. It's just they shouldn't generalize it so much in this because right now is the most important time for us because we're getting to innovate um, history, true history.
right.
What we've been taught is the complete opposite, literally. And just like that CIA director that said in the 60s, was it? And he said, our job will be done when the people of the world believe the complete opposite of all truth. And we're finding out that everything that we've ever been told is the complete opposite.
Well, and again, there's even with the disclosure of the aliens, that again, it's one of those things that really infuriates me. All of these people that are coming out going, oh, so government says that yeah, there are some alien craft ships, but they're not explaining everything. Coming out, it's like, do you need to wait for them to tell you what's actually happening when people have been telling you this for years?
Daddy, will you hold my hand and let me know if Santa's real? It's like,
Yeah.
oh my gosh. So this is the other thing that makes it grinds my gears. Okay. All right. So recently, Mexico had a congressional hearing, two now, on the bodies that were found. They were mummified in Peru,
Hmm.
and they look like aliens, and they got three fingers that are super long, and there's some little ones that had one of them had eggs inside its stomach. Though they were like 3 feet tall. Um, um, a lot of they found them like in 2017. So I've been following this story since back then, and just recently they're barely getting the recognition because the government's finally admitting stuff. Um, Jaime Maussan, he's the journalist. It pisses me off. I'm seeing a bunch of people describe this man as a UFO nut and a self-proclaimed expert, UFO expert. He is the leading journalist, like multi-award winning journalist for Mexico. He was the head of the Mexican 60 Minutes for over 20 years, and yeah, he's a serious journalist. He's not just some kooky dude. It's just that
So, oh,
footage of UFO stuff that he started showing it on the show, and the 60 Minutes got mad at him for being affiliated with any of that type of stuff, and they made him leave the show. So he created his own channel. But yeah, those bodies, they've been like CAT scanned like you never believe. Like everything's in those bodies. They have hearts and head brains in them still. Everything's there. It's not like the when like you think of Egyptian, they pulled all the brains out of the nose and all that stuff. No, but these were naturally mummified by the what they were surrounded in. They weren't prepared for mummification. They just happened to be placed in that one tomb with this white powder that's mined there. Uh, it's like caliche, I guess you could call it. Imagine just a whole bunch of chalk, white chalk, you know. So it literally
okay.
sucked all the water out of them when they died, so they didn't rot, mold, nothing. Everything's still there in them. And top scientists from Mexico and a couple other countries have examined the bodies, did DNA on them, the muscular structure, the tendons are all there, everything is there. And I get to watch these videos on the YouTube, seeing people talk about that they're made of paper mache, they're fake, obviously. And if he really wants to prove it, that Jaime needs to tell Peru to cut off pieces of all the mummies and send them to everybody so they can do their own research to prove it it's real. Because no one wants to believe that Mexico can tell anybody that. And it's like, come on, let go of that bullshit. Man, this is science. I mean,
For
this is our ancient history, and you know how huge this is. They brought bodies out to tell people, and people are still like, "Oh, the government said UFOs." It's like we got the bodies, fool. Ugh.
I know for a fact that there are groups of people that are out there paid to try and discredit and disprove and make other people look like complete fools. And like they're crazy, they don't know what they're talking about and start stuff. And it's even better to now with the internet and anybody can have access to any of that stuff, and that's what they're doing. These groups are out there to discredit people,
Yeah.
and everybody else just needs to start thinking for themselves and put together
Mhm.
the pieces. You can't have thousands and thousands of people all around the world, different countries, all having the exact same experiences and circumstances that are going on, and they're all making it. They all got together one day and decided they were all going to make it up. We
You
can't
know.
even get along in a local neighborhood, let alone people across the world. So,
Mhm.
yeah, who's
Yep.
fooling who?
Yep. One thing that I'm sure you're familiar with, and seeing it happen. So many of these groups, maybe it be Bigfoot or ghost or ancient or werewolves and dogmans, the drama that is involved in all this bullcrap is ridiculous. How stupid it gets. It's like, what does any of that have to do with the paranormal or the Bigfoot stuff or the? It's like people just want to concentrate on that, and that just makes it all the more less plausible for people to believe us. If
Right,
we're going to act like children and fight like little kids over the stupidest crap. I mean, give me a break. I got asked recently, hey, what do you think about all this that's going on and what's happening? And I'm like, I don't give a shit or bang about any of it. I don't give a crap if somebody said that or said this or said whatever. I don't care. What does it have to do with the research? This
right.
ain't high school. You know what I mean?
Well, and we don't all have to get agree with everybody's opinions. Their opinions. Don't
It's okay.
agree.
different
But
the different hypotheses or different theories, you know.
yeah,
Like anything that I talk about, all I do is share what I experienced, what I photographed, videotaped, any research I do. I come to conclusions. Don't ever say I know everything. I know this. I know that. No, the more you really dive in and deep, or go down the rabbit hole, the more you find out that you don't know shit. So much we don't know. I mean, even though technically I may know a lot more than a lot of people, but the realization of because I know all that stuff has told me that I don't know a little smidgen of what reality really is and what we're dealing with on the different realms and dimensions and what we're living on, what we're living in, if we're trapped, if we're allowed to leave. It just goes on and on and on, you know, and it's really, really confusing. So, you know,
well, and if people are so close-minded into saying, this, I don't believe that, I'm not going to listen to you, or I'm not going to even, entertain the idea that what you're saying has any type of grounds or concept in my mind, you're closing yourself off to the fact that they might have pieces that match together and will make sense. I can't tell you how many times I've been listening to a podcast or an experience that somebody has had where they're starting to explain something that just seems so off the wall. But I'm listening going, okay. And then all of a sudden they'll mention something and I'll go, wait, I've heard that before. Okay, they might not be completely on the right track, or I might not be on the right track, but there's something here. There's a match. We've got something going on.
that puzzle piece made your puzzle a little more complete, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
that's what I go, we could just, like, if you got all of our research together, okay? And I mean everybody, not just dogmen or Bigfoot people, no, everybody. And you shook away all the bullshit and fighting and opinions and I know this and I know that, and you just left the raw data.
Yep.
You have a bunch of gaps, right? And you push it together, and you'd have a perfect sphere of what's going on. But we'll never get to find that out of all that information because everybody's no, mine's real. No, mine's real. No, yours is crazy. You got the woo. No, dogmen don't exist. No, it's all about ghosts. No, demons don't exist. It's like it's all tied together. Like I didn't like when I first started doing my research on abductions because of what I went through. I went deep and I studied everything they had existing book wise and all kinds of stuff. And I met half of the different researchers that put all that stuff out. Um, I kept running into here, not all the time, but I kept running into abductions where the people that were abducted didn't care about Bigfoot, didn't research Bigfoot, but they would see Bigfoots and UFOs with the Greys, you know? And for a long time, I thought, I was like, why the hell would Bigfoot be hanging out with Greys? I mean, that's silly. And then now I've got pictures of Bigfoots with Greys and the green skinned red eyed one. So even though my mind at the time said, no, that's silly, it turned out to be real, you know? Um, there's so much I tell people, I go, look, you can like not believe in a Mack truck, but if you go stand on that highway and wait long enough, one will hit you. Whether you believe it, they exist. You don't have to believe something exists for it to exist. There's lots of stuff that we don't know there, that's right there next to us.
Part of the whole infighting too is the fact that, the government doesn't want us to know the truth. So therefore, by creating these fights and arguments and leading people astray, giving bits of information and, trying to downplay different things that are occurring, it it allows everybody to start fighting amongst themselves and not getting the information. And
Yep.
if you're not open, again, if you're not open to the information, or one of the things that I struggle with a lot are the people that I see in comments and in videos and saying that all of these things are demonic. And from my own experience, I know they're not all demonic. There's a book, and I think I had mentioned it to you before, Lorna Burns, Angels in My Hair. And I love that book because I love how she explains about the angels that are around us and that are watching us, and they're just really upset because um, the human race is just they're not asking for the help. They're not following in the spiritual and God and everything else. And um,
And one thing is that people that are religious, which I consider myself religious. I've been born a Catholic, baptized, got saved as a Christian like 7 different times because I thought it wouldn't hurt to get out, saved again and again because that's like extra power. But yeah, I believe that there was a Jesus, and there are angels, there are demons. Now, what they are exactly, we don't know. We just call them those things, these individuals. So the example I give of um, what what's what, it's both angels and demons. You don't get demons though until you've been killed. To become a demon, you got to be killed first because you're not just a demon. Before that, all the angels, the Nephilim, the giants that were born. So from that, so if people believe in demons, then they've got to believe in a God because without God, there's no demons. And this is the example I give is that say that this group of people, okay, were all Democrats, right? And then they had a squabble, and half of them decided to become Republican, right? And they separated. Just because they're two different parties, may you think this group's evil or that group's evil or good, whatever, it doesn't change what they look like. It doesn't change what they drive. It doesn't change any of that stuff. Okay, if we are going to go by what ancient writings, may it be Sumerian, may it be Maya, may it be uh, Greeks, may it be, it's all the same damn story. It's all the same. The Bible, all the same damn story. Um, you had the gods, then you had the ones that acted a fool, and then they got stuck here, and they're not allowed to leave. Okay, what makes people think that if you're okay? Here's an example. All right, so say you got a prison, right? And there's a warden of the prison, and there's a bunch of guards and cooks and janitors and all these different people, and they got a little card that they can swipe to get in and out of work, right? At the prison. What makes people think that all the angels different? Because there's different kinds. That's why I think some of the grays are. Those are some of the watchers. You know, um, some of them are bad, some are good. Some people abduct people and rape the hell out of them. Some abduct people and teach them how to be good.
yep,
And he will heal them and tell them, save the world. And the other ones are like, I'm gonna get you. I'm gonna pull your feet while you're in bed and pull you off and scare the living shit out of you. Steal your baby when you're going 2 months pregnant. Um, there's a lot going on, and good and bad, good and evil are here. Only issue is evil has been here so long now, whatever you want to call it, the devil, whoever, okay, they have been here so long that they have had the time. Just like if I used to be, a federal detention officer and peace officer, and I used to work in the prison. And those guys that have been in there for a long, 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 long time, this is within human span of 100 years, and most people spend at the most 50 years in prison, for the lifers. Um, they figure out every possible way to get out of their cell. They figure out every possible way to hide a shank. They figure out how to get drugs. They figure out. In the women's prisons, they figure out how to do hairspray. They got hairspray made out of melted Jolly Ranchers in water.
yeah,
The sugar hardens. You know what I mean?
yeah, yeah.
Uh, they make lipstick with Kool-Aid, makeup, everything. So what do you think how much do you think a person could know that has access to technology too? Okay, in jail they ain't got that. Imagine somebody that has a whole realm of lands and all the weird shit that we got. There's different dimensions and all this. If you had, I don't know, 50,000 years or more, I don't know exactly how long it's, they got kicked out, but imagine how much you could figure out and
Yeah.
manipulate. Doesn't mean you can leave, but you know every possible version of reality that's available in that space. And to us, anything is magic, or just supernatural. When technically everything's technology, but they're so far advanced that we see it as just impossible, and yeah, they can't leave, and it happened over and over and over. We're in the sixth lifetime, going to be in the sixth lifetime. It's the fifth right now. That evil has tried to rise up, use the people, and try to get out.
Yeah.
They want to get out and rule the realm. Every time they lose, every time we get knocked down with our reality, you know, technologies and have to start over again. Um, what makes it different this time? As in the reality of this has already happened that many times, and you've been spanked, even though we started with the Tower of Babel. The story of the Babel. They tried it then too, it didn't work. They're trying it right now, and it's not going to work. Um, who knows? My issue also is with prophecy. Is say like somebody told me there was once a prophecy said that a bald-headed man with a goatee would one day go camping with a Bigfoot, right? So I go home, I shave my head, shave my beard, make a goatee, and I go out in the forest and I wait for Bigfoot. Did the prophecy get fulfilled, or did I manipulate and pretend that I was that prophecy? Which is it? So I'm saying that we're not in the year 2023. The timeline's been manipulated, and that the powers that be are trying to push forward a false Armageddon and false prophecies that they're saying are being fulfilled, which in reality, they're just working with the people, making us believe certain things. It's really, really interesting because if they tell us that say the ETs are evil, right? Saying they're evil and they're going to come get us. We must fight them. And there's going to be a fake Jesus that comes. He's not here to help you, really. He'll say that. He'll come here and he'll be like, oh, I'm here to help you guys. I want to help the world. I'm here to fight. But they're telling us that one's fake. That one's evil. And the aliens that come with them are here to kill us all.
And
Making us, when they do, if we were to get saved and
yep,
Jesus was to come and help, we would be like, man, no way, kill them all, kill them, kill them. We're that easily manipulated. You know,
that's the narrative that they've been pushing for years. I mean, even before the last couple of years, since I've been hearing this more and more. Um, if you look at in Hollywood, all of the video movies, shows, anytime that there is an alien, it's the battle of us and them, where we have to fight them. They are just going to come down here and suck our brains out and kill us all and take over. But I've been saying for years, if that is something that they wanted to do, why the hell didn't they do it before? They've had plenty, ample opportunities
it
to
wouldn't
come
be
down
hard to
and
see. Think about this, guy. Exactly what you're saying. So, one, they ain't traveling from a bazillion miles away. I don't think. I can't be for sure, but I don't think so. Um, the story says like there's a bunch of Bigfoots that don't like humans. There is Bigfoots out there that hate us. and will eat us. And the reason why they hate us and want to eat us is because they're pissed off that they got sent and banished to the forests of the world, never to mingle amongst man again. You're not allowed to come out no more. They're not allowed to play with us because from my tribe and many other tribes that I've talked to and worked with, throughout the United States and other places, same story says that they were banished for being too unruly, fighting, not wanting to do what they're supposed to do, and they got banished to the forests. Right? Sumerian even said that with Enki and the
Who
Epic of
banished
Gilgamesh. God,
them?
the
Okay.
God, like in the Sumerian text, it's Gilgamesh that banishes the Enkidu. Okay, after they went on strike, they were Bigfoot. They went on strike, and Gilgamesh challenged one of them to show everybody that he's the boss. Yeah, I'm a god king. You're just our creation. You have to do what we say. And he got in a fight with them and lost. So that really pissed him off because the gods are supposed to be infallible. You're not supposed to be able to beat them unless you're a god. So he banished all the Enkidu to the depths of the forest around the world, never to mingle amongst men again. So you got a whole bunch of Bigfoots that are really don't like us because we were made and favored. Same story as, the shining light bringer. Uh, was pissed off because God said, you have to treat them as if it was me. They are my creation and they are special. You're not to do shit to them. But find out you do something to them, so they have to do it themselves. Now, if you let them know and they still go along with whatever it is that harms them, that's their fault. And that's why you get all the information in movies and stuff being released that say, "Oh no, that's not real," but technically they said it. They've warned us, so they're not going to get further banished for it or punished for it in their eyes, which is pretty silly. But you got to think about they're doing it for a reason. They do it that way for a reason. So something is to it. So yeah, there's a lot of groups that they wish they could hurt us. They want to hurt us. And the only way they can get to us is when we let it happen. We agree, we follow, we worship those evil things, and push away all good. I just saw a video where a guy was saying that the way that, like Noah, okay, Noah and his family, when the last great deluge happened, they were the last pure human beings. Okay, they were untouched by the other fallen angels, and they had not been mixed with all the animal bloods and different chimeras that were made and all that stuff. So that's why they were the ones that were saved. Right now, there's a whole bunch of us now that have been mixed. We're chimera. A lot of us are chimeras that don't even know it, and that they're trying to, change that in our DNA, so we're not protected, you could say, because God's willing to wipe the shit out of all of us. Done it before, to do it again, you know, and it's a real mind blow. Like, I guess, excuse my language. You can beep. You can beep. Do
Yeah,
you mind?
yeah, yeah, you're fine.
Okay. But it's a real mind fuck. Um, Knowing that everything's been manipulated. So that's the hardest part about the Bible is that everything else can be manipulated completely and just there's like, oh, don't mess with that book. No, they have changed it. A lot's been changed,
Yeah,
you know? And we've been told a whole bunch of stuff they've added to it about that we can't do. And I'm not talking about like murder and stuff like that, but things that we were supposed to be able to access and use to get to that higher consciousness and closer to God. And we've been told that we're not, if you do that, it's pagan and you're going to hell.
yeah,
And then finding out that, that hell, the reference to hell hadn't been mentioned not until the 1700s by a Jesuit, priest in Dante's Inferno.
yeah,
So there's all kinds of different things that we don't understand that's going on. Like they are trying to release. these demons out of that realm. The hydrogen collider. You know about all that, right?
Yep,
Yeah,
that's a hot topic lately too.
yeah. You know that's not the first one.
Yeah, yeah. The
Hit-
first, well,
Hitler.
that's the bigger one. There was a smaller one that.
Oh no, there's a Hitler had a 7 mile wide one. The one they have right now is smaller. Yeah,
Oh,
yeah. Because Hitler was trying to release them, serve uh Satan, Lucifer himself, where they're all imprisoned, trying to open the door to let them out. And that's what they've been working on, and that's why it's called the God particle that they found. Because if you read the Bibles, God refers to the devil, Lucifer, as the god of this realm.
of this realm.
Mhm.
Hmm.
Yeah, even Jesus says it, and that's why the devil, when he took Jesus up there onto that mountaintop and said, "I can give you all of this. You just got to bow down to me, because this is all mine here." And Jesus is like, "Oh hell no, Satan! My daddy owns the whole damn place. You just renting this bubble down here, you know." Um, yeah, people forget that. So when you got some evil people saying, "Oh, praise God, I like to thank God," they ain't talking about that one. They talking about the God of this realm, and that's why people are like, "No, no, that actor or that singer." No, they're talking. They thank God. I heard them say, "I thank God," just because he's drinking children's blood and snorting dehydrated brain matter or whatever they're doing today. These crazy kids. Um, yeah, people who don't realize that is this. You know what I mean? Here we're in a realm that really sucks. Here we're stuck here too. And the only way you can get out, like this is a hypothesis scheme. All right. So what if we are within a firmament? Okay. And the only way you can get through it, supposedly, is when you die, if you're a pure spirit. Okay, to be able to ascend beyond that. So to me, if we've all learned out there about the cymatic, different, like on all the ancient the cathedrals and all that, all those cool shapes and vibration and all that stuff. What if the code to get in and out is that vibration coming out of your spirit, your soul, whatever you want to call it, that allows you to pass through? And if you don't have that pure vibration that you cannot attain, if you have evil in you at all, you can't get out. You know, why can't God get in? Why can't His angels get in and out? They're the ones that stuck everybody here. They're the wardens. You know,
But apparently they can get in and out.
that's what I'm saying. They can.
Oh, yeah.
So that's why, like you were saying, that some people believe everything's demons, anything's here is demons, everything's bad. Ah, it's like, no, there's both here. There's some things that don't make sense, because like that'd be really sad that if a demon wanted to pretend to be a cat to get filmed and put on Nuke's top five. That's his whole mission in the world. I'm going to pretend I'm a ghost cat. It's like, come on. I know demons suck and all, but they ain't that stupid. They got bigger things to fry. And yeah, so it's like, yeah, there is both here. There's so many different things, and it doesn't make sense, because if you go straight by the Bible, um, either you go to heaven or hell right now. With today's thought process, it's either heaven or hell. There's no in between. You can't you Anything that's around here, walking around, ghost like, that has to be a demon. Has to be. Can't be anything else. Can't be somebody wandering that don't know where to go or got stuck here, repeating the same thing over and over and over and over and over. Nope, it's all demons. To me, that's just silly.
Where did you get one sec? Where did you get this information from? Are you sure? Is this verified?
Yeah, I got my podcast.
From your podcast?
Yeah.
My daughter just handed me a note. She said the guy who made the name God Particle wanted to name it Goddamn Particle because it costed 2.5 to 2.7 billion just to discover the damn particle.
Reading between the lines, though. Listen to what you just read me. The damned.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
You know. And what are they doing at what's the statue they have there?
But
Sheila.
that was a gift.
Mm-hmm.
Uh-huh.
Very nice gift. This
Yeah.
is great. But what does that statue represent?
That
Shiva, the,
represents, yes.
the god of war.
Oh, I thought it was death. Death and destruction, or just,
That's part of it. Yeah. There's
yeah.
a few horrible things that she's in charge of. But think about it. You're at the Hydrogen Collider where you're trying to open up a dimension to release all evil to start a great holy war. And who do you have right there waiting?
Sheba.
Yeah. What's the logo for CERN? CERN's logo? It's a 666.
But it's an abstracted representation of a cyclotron particle accelerator.
Mm-hmm. Very interesting.
That kind of makes me go back to the whole rationalization of everything. How it's so easy for us as humans to rationalize a reason behind something that's smack dab in our face and blow it off like there's a legit reason behind it and they've explained that, so it's okay. Well, people aren't questioning things like they should be.
And for all the political nutties out there, they're all on the damn same team. I don't give a crap you like Trump, Biden, Obama, George Bush, Ronald Reagan, any of them. They're all on the same team. It kills me when it's like my issue with Trump isn't because I'm a Democrat or independent or not. Ain't none of that stuff, man. They're all evil people, man. This whole thing with Epstein, it just shows me. I'll see video after video, going on about the Biden crime family and Epstein and all that stuff. I'm like, and they're all, and Trump's gonna get them all out. It's like, that he was real good buddies with him too. Him and Melania, they partied with old Epstein a lot. There was even he settled in court for a 13-year-old that he had sex with. I mean, Epstein. The little girl even said it. That she was, yeah. You know what I mean? It's like,
Well, you go back to the initial, scandal when he was first running too, about how he said, you have enough money and you can get away with.
yeah,
Well,
murdering.
regardless, it doesn't. I've been saying, my parents always get on me because they're like, oh, who did you vote for? And oh, you're president. And it's like, well, he's your president too.
Yeah.
I honestly I can't say I voted one way or another because it doesn't really matter. So why
Yeah.
even bother at this point?
I ran for president in 2016.
Really?
We had over 1 million votes. It was a write-in, and yeah, it's like I said, it's ridiculous.
So are you gonna rerun this? This coming up?
Hell no. I ran once already, and ain't nobody tried to help at all. Everybody said that's why I ran because I kept getting told to run, and so I did, and then everybody that wanted me to run was just like, But like I said, I did get votes, but the newscasters, all the news stations here, like in New Mexico, they wouldn't let me talk about. Literally, I was on the news multiple times for my movies, TV shows, and all that stuff, and they always would literally tell me, "We were told to tell you to not speak about you running for president."
That's why, because they were trying to direct the narrative, and you were on the wrong platform.
Exactly. So, any of the, like I said, any of them, our government, if they truly cared about the people here and our welfare and people of the world, they wouldn't be spending trillions of dollars on war, just killing huge amounts of people. We don't pay taxes to just to feed the government and pay them. And well, just like NASA, that one bugs the hell out of me. How much? You know what their budget is? It's about $52 million a day. I'm not kidding. Check on Google what it is exactly the budget.
But
It'll be ridiculous.
but they're not even doing a lot of this stuff anymore. I mean, you're talking, it doesn't make sense because you're.
If you don't mind Googling that, what's NASA's budget?